Good morning. So yesterday we were discussing about this structure of C program. We started this topic and we will be discussing this in today's class. We will be continuing with this. So if you have a doubt in previous class, you can ask in the first 2-3 minutes till others are joining. Then we will continue from where we left. Do you people have any doubt in floating point representation number? We have covered that yesterday. If you have a doubt, you can ask. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So if you have a doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I will move on with the topic. Should I move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope you people have understood from yesterday's lecture what is documentation, what is this link section, what is definition section, and global. Now we had covered all this. We were at this stage, I guess. We have also covered this yesterday. I gave you this example. So I have already given you example of this definition section also. So one of the student is saying in the messages that I'm a new student. I have joined yesterday only. So what you can do is you can contact your GR or CR and they will provide you the link of the recorded lectures. Because this is a combined subject, there are multiple teachers teaching this subject. So we have not uploaded the link on the LMS yet because it will be uploaded as a single PDF in which teacher name and the link will be available for all the teachers. It will be shared in few days, but till then I have already put the videos and I have shared that link with your classmates. You can ask anyone, they will give you the link. Okay, so moving on with the definition section, we have already covered the variations of this thing. I also gave you the example yesterday that you can uh, even you can write here hash define area with pi r square, and that will be called in your program. So I will give you example again. So hash define, if I write area here, so this area will be my macro statement. This will be a macro keyword which will be used in the code, and I can write here pi into 5 into 5. So if I go ahead and write a program and I write here printf percent f and I write here area, so this thing will always print 78.5 in the output. Why? Because this will be calculated. This word area here will be replaced by this thing and the calculation will be done on the backend. The answer will be 78.5. So this will be there. So that's about definition section. We have also discussed the global declaration section yesterday. We discussed this main function. We saw this example. So we were at this point, we were about to start the life cycle of a C program. So this class lecture will be about discussing all the life cycle. So what happens to the code when you write it, what happens on the backend, we will discuss all those things. So this is a basic C program in which all these statements are just doing one thing. They are printing hello world in the output. That's it. It has multiple components. This is preprocessor directive. We are calling this thing from the backend and from the library on the backend. Then we are defining our main function. Then we are getting the printing of hello world in this bracket. So this is my limitation of int main. So this main function has a limitation that it will be having these number of statements which we write inside it. So those will be calculated. Now, this is the life cycle of a C program. So for a C program, when we write the code, let's say you write a program, you write everything in it, then you save it by the name hello .c. So we have seen this kind of case that we can write any name. We can choose a name of our choice. So let's say the code name is simple.c, that is written here. So this is the first step. You have to write that code in the editor, and that editor can be your dev C++ editor, or maybe it can be an online compiler, and within that online compiler website you can write your code in the code section. So it will be saved on the backend as a .c. Then we are going to, when we run that program, what happens on the backend is, the first step is that preprocessor comes into play. So what does this preprocessor do? It converts my code. Let's say I had written this int main, and in this I was writing printf hello world. So even if I have written hello or hello world here, so because I am using printf statement, I have to include this stdio.h before it, right? Because stdio.h has a full form, standard input output, and this printf function is defined within this. So what does this preprocessor do? I will show you in the next slide. I will take you to it. So this is how it works. So when we call this function, we say print hello, then this hash include stdio.h goes into the code and it is expanded. So see here, it is written code of stdio.h file. So let's say that stdio.h is a file on the backend, which has, let's say, 100 statements. So let's say there are 100 lines of code. 100 lines of code are there in this stdio.h. So when we when this preprocessor comes into play, what it does is it takes these three lines of code, and this stdio.h which we had included, it comes on the head of it. So total lines of code will become, let's say, 102. So 100 lines of stdio.h will be there, that will be copy pasted. इसको copy करके वो नीचे वाले कोड को उसके साथ चिपका देगा, तो टोटल वो 102 लाइन का कोड हो गया. बिकॉज here you can see, let's say this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3, this is line 4. तो ये 4 लाइन है जैसे, प्लस अगर उसके 100 लाइन जुड़ जाएंगे तो टोटल आपका कोड 104 लाइन का हो जाएगा. 104 lines of code will be there, and this 104 lines of code will be saved by the name simple.i, which we cannot see, but on the back end the copy of simple.c is now converted to simple.i. It simply means कि जो मेरा simple.c था उसमें suppose मेरे ये थे 5 लाइन 1 2 3 4 5, but now my simple.i has 105 lines of code, just because हमने 100 लाइन इसके जोड़ दिए थे stdio.h के. ठीक है, तो जो डॉट आई है, इट इज द एक्सपेंडेड सोर्स कोड. यहाँ पे एक्सपेंडेड सोर्स कोड लिखा हुआ है, इसका मतलब यही है कि जो भी stdio.h में होगा वो एज इट इज कॉपी पेस्ट हो जाएगा. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द प्रीवियस स्लाइड. नाउ आफ्टर दिस पार्ट इज कंप्लीटेड, जब वो simple.i में कन्वर्ट हो चुका है, देन इट सेंड्स द वैल्यू टू द कंपाइलर. इट सेंड्स द कोड टू द कंपाइलर. अब कंपाइलर का काम है उसको असेंबली कोड में कन्वर्ट करना. ठीक है, जैसे प्रीप्रोसेसर का काम था उसको एक्सपेंडेड सोर्स कोड में लेके आना, इस एक्सपेंडेड सोर्स कोड को असेंबली कोड में कन्वर्ट करना कंपाइलर का काम है. एंड दिस इज हाउ इट लुक्स लाइक. आई विल टेक यू टू दैट स्लाइड. सो दिस इज हाउ इट लुक्स लाइक. नाउ वी हैव द एक्सपेंडेड सोर्स कोड जिसमें लेट्स से 105 लाइंस ऑफ कोड है. ठीक है, अब इनको 105 लाइनों को वो कन्वर्ट करेगा कंपाइलर किसमें, असेंबली कोड में. एंड वी हैव सीन अर्लियर वन एग्जांपल, जब मैं बोलता था लेट्स से LDA5, इसका मतलब था लोड द एक्यूमुलेटर रजिस्टर. सो इसमें ए मेरा एक्यूमुलेटर रजिस्टर होता है. वी आर पुटिंग द वैल्यू ऑफ 5 इन दैट एक्यूमुलेटर रजिस्टर. ठीक है, लोड द वैल्यू ऑफ 5 इनटू एक्यूमुलेटर रजिस्टर, इसका मतलब ये था लोड द एक्यूमुलेटर. उसके बाद इफ आई डू दिस INR A, इसका मतलब है इंक्रीमेंट A, तो वो +1 कर देगा A को और इसको अपडेट करके इट विल राइट इट एज 6. ओके, so after this it after this will be looking like uh, now this is looking like this. It is saved as a .s file, and assembly code में .s का मतलब है that I mean it's just a saving extension file. अब जैसे हमारा C program में we save the file with .c extension, सिमिलरली असेंबली कोड को हम .s के साथ सेव करते हैं. तो अगर आपका C कोड आप लिखोगे, दैट C कोड विल बी सेव्ड विद .c एक्सटेंशन. बट इफ यू आर राइटिंग असेंबली कोड which you might or maybe not because you are in mechanical, so computer science mein there is in computer engineering there is subject of 885 and 886 microprocessor and also computer architecture. So within that, when we write the assembly code programming, we save the code by .s extension. So यहाँ पे ये वाला .s वहाँ से आया है. Just remember that assembly code is saved with .s file. ठीक है. एंड इट विल लुक लाइक दिस. उसमें वो कन्वर्ट कर देगा हर स्टेटमेंट को जो हमारा ह्यूमन रीडेबल था. नाउ इट इज अ बिट ऑफ असेंबली कोड एंड अभी भी समझ सकते हैं, बस इसमें थोड़ा एफर्ट ज्यादा लगता है. ठीक है. मूव करना है, पुश करना है. पुश का मतलब है दैट वी आर पुशिंग सम नंबर. लेट्स से यहाँ पे लिखा है पुश समथिंग. वी वर एट दिस पॉइंट, वी वर डिस्कसिंग that this is the expanded source code and this is being converted into assembly code as a .s file. Okay. And so this will be duty of the compiler to convert your .i expanded code into the assembly code. Okay. So we were at this point and compiler is over. Now the next part is that after your assembly code is ready, so that assembly code will be converted into object code with a extension of .obj. And it will be done through the assembler. So now this time assembler will help us to convert our object code into .obj file. Okay. So assembler will convert the assemble code which we have already written here. So this is the commands push, move, and so all of them which were saved as a .s file. Now we will look into, I mean, all those things will be shifted into the object code in the machine language. So this is now 0101. All these numbers, all these things will be converted through the assembler as a .obj file. So this is the function of the assembler. Okay. So let's see that where we are in this diagram. Just 1 second, I will clear this up. So this sample, this is the C program, simple.c, converted into the simple.i through the preprocessor. This is my C program and it is converted into the expanded source code. Then it is being converted into assembly code. We have seen what happens in assembly code. It was done by the compiler, then into the object code, that is the 01 form through the assembler. And then the linker will help us to execute. We will convert our object code into the executable file as a .exe file. So this is how it works. So this is linker. It will combine multiple 01 values, multiple machine code values into one exe file by doing this simple.exe. Okay, so this is how it works. This is linker, and this .exe file will then be loaded into the memory, that is RAM, and it is done by the loader. So it is the function of the loader to convert your to run your exe file into the memory. It will put it in the memory. Let's say we get some space in RAM, and your exe file will go there and run itself, and it will be getting our work done. So whatever we wanted to do. So this is the whole process of the life cycle of a C program. So it is like, I mean, these are the all steps. So if you have a doubt in any of the step, you can ask right now. Hanji, if you have a doubt, you can ask right now in this case, when we are converting our C program into the form of execution. So there were multiple steps. There was preprocessor which helped us to expand the code, then compiler converted into the assembly code, then assembler helped us to convert it into object code, and then finally through the executable code it was put into the execution through the loader. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's talk about the C character set now. So these are the different character sets. So there are letters, there are digits, and there are some escape sequences. So letters A to Z means that we have the values A to Z, capital and small. So there are multiple capital and small letters. They are letters, and digits are 0 to 9. We all know that. But now if we look at the escape sequences means the blank space, horizontal tab, vertical tab, new line, form feed. So all of these things are the escape sequences. Okay. So escape sequences help us to, I mean, we have already used this thing new line in our code. So when we write new line, uh, it takes our print statement to the next line for the next printing. Similarly, there are horizontal tabs. It can be done by this. There are vertical tabs also. There is new line, there is form feed, the blank space. So there are multiple types of these things, and you can explore these things. There are all these are also special characters. So this is how it looks like. So you can put a comma or a dot, semicolon. So all of these are the uh, special characters, right? So there is backslash, slash, the forward slash is slash, vertical bar, exclamation mark. So all of them, uh, whichever way you put, less than, greater than, the parenthesis. So this is a very important part. So when we say you have to use parentheses, they are round brackets and they are generally used along with the functions. And when we say we are using this brackets, the square brackets, they are used with the array. For example, I want to save my name, or maybe I want to save hello in one array of characters. So I can write it like this. I can write it like this. So in this case, we are sending this hello in the array of characters, which is named by A, and this is how it looks like. So when we say A10, it means that within the RAM, we have put A, and which is taking 10 spaces. So if I write hello here, so it will be given 10 spaces inside it. So generally, अगर मैं char A equal to capital A करता हूँ, so in this case, this is my single character. But अगर मैं A10 लिख रहा हूँ, तो A10 के केस में this is my array of characters. ठीक है? तो array of characters में we have 10 bytes in this case, because मैंने यहाँ पे 10 लिखा है, तो character का single character होता, तो इसका size होता 1 byte. But now because I am using A10, it means I am using array of characters 10 bytes. Okay. So that's about this square bracket, and these curly braces we use to define the border of a function. So when I say int main and I put this brackets, so this is how it looks like. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the special characters. So each character is assigned a unique numeric code, and these values put together are called character codes. So it means that on the backend, so when we say each character is given a unique numeric code, it means that in our C programming, when we say we are using A to Z, I think the range of their number in integers is 65 to 90. And for the small A to Z, the range is from 97 to 122. If you print the character as an integer, you will get these numbers. So these are the backend numbers that have been assigned to those characters. Similarly, for 0 to 9, the range is, I think, from 48 to 57. So even if you put 0 in as a char A, and you then go ahead and print %d, the %d is integer, the value of a character as an integer. So 0 will return a 48. So let's see practically that what I'm saying is true. Just 1 second. I will take you to the online C compiler. Removing the annotations, sharing my screen. So if I write here hash import stdio.h int main, if I write here char a equal to 0. Now 0 is a number, but I am putting this 0 as a character. So now if I do the printf as this %d, now because my a is a character, but I want to print this as a number. So let's see what it gives as the output. Hash include I not import. Yes, so the output is 48, right? So what I was saying was, when we write 0 here and we print that character as an integer, okay, so in that case we will get this 48 as the number in the output. Similarly, if I can make it capital A, it will give me 65 now, right? It is giving me 65. And if I write here capital Z, it will be 90. If I write here just space का जो backend पे number होता है, it is 32, so the output is 32. So I just remember the space one, and otherwise we should remember, we should try to remember this range, especially these ranges which I mentioned. So if I write here capital A to capital Z, this has a range of 65 to 90. If I say small a to small z, the range is from 97 to 122. If I say 0 to 9, the range is from 48 to 57. So these are some things that we should remember. If I have a space, so there is a space here. So in this case, your number will be 32. So these are the unique numeric values that have been assigned to each character. Now these values put together are called character codes, and especially the character codes, when we say there is a character, it is of 1 byte, it is of 8 bits, right? The size is 8 bits, and in 8 bits we have 0 to 255, total 256 characters. So all these 256 characters come under ASCII character codes. So ASCII has a full form. I So I will let you know the ASCII full form right now. Just a second. So ASCII full form is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So I will write it here. Just give me a second. It is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So this is the full form of ASCII. Okay. So all these numbers, I was saying 65, 90, 97 to 122, 48, 57. So all these numbers come under ASCII code. So these are the ASCII codes of all the characters which I have written in front of you. Okay, so moving ahead now. So these are the delimiters. Delimiters are the colon, semicolon, parenthesis, square bracket. So all of these are the delimiters. In this case, colon will be useful for labeling, which we will cover in switch statement. So in switch statement, we will cover this colon. Someone is writing in messages that these are ASCII numbers. Yes. So they were the ASCII numbers. So now semicolon is used to terminate the statement. This is parentheses for the expression and function. So when we use function when we use a user defined function or the printf function, so something like that whenever we want to do, especially not in the printf, but when we make some function, let's say int sum, it is a function. Now these are the parentheses, and these are the parentheses, and these are the curly braces to give me the scope of this. So when we say int sum and then curly brackets, it means that it is the scope of the statement. So hash is my preprocessor directive. It is used in the starting, so hash include or hash define, so all those things are used in a hash. And then comma is a variable separator, so we have seen statements like this: int a comma b comma c. So all of them uh, are the variable separators. So there are some keywords. Now. These keywords should be not used as a variable name. So you cannot use them for the variable names: auto, break, case, char, constant, continue, default. So all these things need to be taken care of, that you cannot use them as a variable name. Okay. And after that, uh, identifiers in C. So C identifier is a name used to identify a variable name. Identifier means that we are using a name. It can be for a variable, it can be for a function, it can be for a user defined item. So you have to use names, right? So we can write int a and b. So this is identifier for a variable name. When I use int sum as a function name, and not the semicolon here, but if I use a sum function, this sum is my identifier again, right? And this is a user defined function. So an identifier starts with the letter A to Z. It can be small or big. It can start with the underscore. It can or more letters and digits. So identifier cannot start with a number. So I think it should not be. Yeah, it is written followed. So you can put the numbers after you started with A or B or underscore. So you can write underscore A1. But if you say you want to write this 1A, this is wrong. Why? Because you cannot start with a number. So it's not written here, but we cannot start the variable name by a number. You can start it with the underscore. You can start with a variable name as a character. A A1 लिख सकते हो, A2 लिख सकते हो. So all these things can be done, but you cannot start it with a number. Okay. So now the names, if I write int small a and capital A, these are two different names because my C is case sensitive. For it, the capital and small a are different. Why? Because small a का जो backend पे sky code है that is 97, but for the capital A it is 65. So जब वो numbers ही backend पे अलग हैं तो obviously they will be treated as two different numbers. Now rules for forming the identifier names. Rules are simple. You have to start it with a character. You can start it with a underscore, but you cannot put consecutive two underscores. आप ऐसे नहीं लिख सकते a underscore underscore one, ये गलत है. You can do it as a underscore one underscore two. ऐसे करके आप दो underscore लिख सकते हो, पर इकट्ठे नहीं लिख सकते. ठीक है, ये वाला हो गया. Keywords cannot be used as identifiers. So we have seen some keyword. There was go to, there was int. तो जितने भी हमारे प्री डिफाइंड नेम्स हैं वो हम कीवर्ड्स के नाम नहीं रख आइडेंटिफायर के नाम नहीं रख सकते. अल्फाबेट्स करेक्टर केस इज important, and also it cannot include any special characters except this underscore. तो आप हैश से नहीं कर सकते. You cannot put dollar sign in the names, so you can use underscore, otherwise और भी कोई special character नहीं use कर सकते. And the last point, it is not written here, you cannot put the number as the first character. So it can be of any reasonable length. Any reasonable length का मतलब है कि up to जैसे 63 characters का आप लिख सकते हो. कोई भी नाम लिखना जैसे int के बाद, तो इतना बड़ा वैसे कोई नाम रखता भी नहीं है. We try to keep it simple. So underscore can be used to separate the parts of the name in an identifier. Okay, now data types. Let's discuss about the data types. We still have 10 minutes. So data types in C refer to an extensive system used for declaring the variables or functions of different types. The type of a variable determines how much space it occupies in storage and how the bit pattern stored is interpreted, right? And now we will talk about the data types. Uh, so someone is saying to give my contact information. So you can contact me in my email, sahil.sharma@thapar.edu. So you can email me your doubts, and I will try to cover your doubts in the class only in the first 5 minutes next time. So if you have doubts, you can directly email me. So I will take care कि मैं ये वाली चीज़ cover करूँ class में. So C supports a number of qualifiers that can be applied. बहुत सारे होते हैं, short, long, unsigned, signed. ठीक है, तो all these things are there. Now there are multiple data types, and they can be primitive, they can be derived, they can be user defined. So primitive wale to we have already seen multiple times. It can be char, it can be integer, it can be float, double, void. So all those things can be there. And derived are the arrays, pointers, and functions. So we will cover these are chapters in itself. And there is enum, structure, and union. So these are also user defined, they are also a different chapter. So we will be covering all these data types in detail. uh, for now, let's see the range first. So what is the range? Can anyone tell me how these numbers, how these ranges have been formed? Can anyone tell me?
सर 1 बाइट में जितने भी वो हमारे बिट्स होते हैं उनको 2 की पावर बना देते हैं.
Yes, so just for this first case, what we can do is we can define this range as minus of 2 raised per minus 7 to 2 raised per 7 minus 1. इसको ध्यान से देखेंगे. So we have size of 8 bits for a character, right? And in this case, what we have to do is minus of 2 raised पर minus 7 जो आया वो कैसे आया, 8 minus 1 करके आया, and 2 plus of 2 raised per 8 minus 1 minus 1. So in this case my range is minus 128 to 127. So these are the ranges. And similarly for integer the same rule will apply. ऐसे ही कुछ करेंगे. 4 है तो 32 bits होंगे, तो we will do minus of 2 raised per minus 32 minus 1 to plus of 2 raised per 32 minus 1 minus 1. So this will be minus of 2 raised per minus 31 to 2 raised per 31 minus 1. So that's what is written here. In fact, there is a mistake in this slide, so it should be 2 raised per 31 minus 1. ठीक है, ये यहाँ पे ऐसा होना चाहिए. Similarly, you can calculate for long int. अगर 64 bits हैं, तो you can do it like this. So minus 2 raised per 63 to 2 raised per 63 minus 1. ठीक है जी. And then unsigned integer, long, double. So all these things can be done. Again, now unsigned integer है तो इस केस में क्या होगा, it will be 0 to 2 raised per 32 minus 1. Why? Because अगर आप unsigned और signed की बात करो, unsigned versus signed numbers. So unsigned में क्या होगा, unsigned में you have to not take care of the minus numbers. So it will be, अगर आपके पास 8 bits हैं तो आप उसको ऐसे लिख सकते हो 0 to 2 raised per 8 minus 1. तो 0 to 255 वाला जैसे हमने स्काई में देखा था, so that is unsigned. But अगर signed होता तो वो माइनस वाले में जाएंगे तो फिर हाफ हो जाएगा. तो similarly if you have unsigned integer, अगर आपके पास 4 bytes हैं, you can do it as 0 to 2 raised per 32 minus 1. ठीक है, तो 0 to 2 raised per 32 minus 1 ऐसे आ जाएगा. Similarly, unsigned characters में I have already discussed कि अगर 8 bits हैं, you can do it as 0 to 2 raised per 8 minus 1, which is 0 to 255. Is this slide clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will stop here. We will discuss this slide in the next class. So that's all for today.